Good morning to our guest, Nola Jones. Richard, how are you doing too?
I'm doing great, Randy. Welcome to Coffee Talk, everybody. So great to have Nola with us this morning.
Good
It
morning,
sure is.
Richard. It's great to see you guys. I miss y'all.
Yep, you've been busy. What have you been up to?
Oh, just this and that. This weekend I was doing an honor band in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. It was great. Spring has sprung even up there, and y'all, there's just like, have you picked up on this? It's just like there's this renewal out there. My Facebook feed is full of people who are doing LPGE or concert performance assessment all over for the first time, and they're so proud of their bands. It seems like we're all emerging. There's this reawakening, and everybody's getting excited about the fall. We're starting to see things about their plans for the fall. It feels so great. It feels like we're back. We're
It
getting there.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, it absolutely does, Nola, and it's a great segue into just letting everybody know about the Marching Arts Institute that's happening June 15th through the 17th at Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana, which is close to South Bend, Notre Dame, et cetera, et cetera. Come visit us live. Be there in person. We're going to offer it virtually as well, but there's nothing better than being there live in person, mainly because Richard and I have put together a marching arts lab band that's going to be composed of high school students that the clinic staff is going to get an opportunity to work with. And Nola is one of our clinic staff. And Nola and John Phillips and Marie Chapinski and David Starnes are going to do some really special sessions on Wednesday night to kick things off with the rest of the clinicians. And one of them is going to be the why, what, and how of marching band, which is going to be a great session. Just going to kind of talk about what Nola's talking about. Why should you go? Why should you be there? Why should you, what is it that we're going to be doing and how we're going to do it? And the other session that her and John are going to kind of lead is one on seeing marching band performance through the judge's eyes. So Nola, talk away here.
I'm really sorry you couldn't get any judges to do that panel that have had any experience judging marching band. Randy. If you added up all the marching bands that group of people has judged over the years, it'd probably be in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I won't have to do anything with those guys. I can just sit there and, my gosh, that's fantastic. The whole panel of facilitators just looks amazing for the whole experience. I don't know what you did to pull all those people together at the same place at the same time, but that's fantastic. I'm excited to go myself because I can't wait to hear everyone else's session. So it's going to be terrific. Everybody's planning their shows for the fall right now, getting ready for the fall. But I remember getting to that point where you've got the show put together and you've got everything kind of sorted out and you think you know how it's going to be. And then about the 1st of June, you think, oh boy, this may not work like we thought it would. And you invested all this time, and then you start to see maybe some of the obstacles and some of the challenges, and then what I've noticed when we've done these intensives is people come in with all their information and then just a little bit of interaction with these people who've done these things, and all of a sudden things just tend to crystallize and clear up. And in June, you've got time to make those adjustments. But the goal is to never put it on the field and have to change it. Get it right the first time. And that marching arts intensive is a brilliant way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Richard, what's going to be unique about having the lab band there with the participants, whether they be virtual or in person? Hopefully in person, but
Well, Randy, and all you guys know that when we go to a clinic session, it's great to have someone there with a PowerPoint. It's great to listen to philosophy. It's great to listen to here's how I do it, etc. But to actually watch people do it with students the way they would if it was their own group, that's amazing. And if you think about some of these clinicians that we have, Nola, of course, being one of our great clinicians, I think of some of the others too, Chip Krutz, and I want to see what Chip does with brass players when they're standing in front of him. Kyle Young, Beth Fabrizio, I want to see what they do when they're standing in front of woodwind players. Scott Johnson from Blue Devils, all these folks, what do they do with percussion? They're just, Tony Lyman, how do we set up electronics and all this? There's so much to learn. And one of the things that I'm finding myself doing as I get older, and what am I now? I'm in my 10th year, almost my 10th year of retirement, Randy and Nola, and I'm watching other people more than I ever have. Even when I'm a writer, I'm looking at other folks writing to try to learn. I mean, I feel like I'm doing that more than I've ever done. And I can't encourage people that are out there listening to this to show up live for this, because you won't believe what you'll take back from these amazing clinicians. I'm right with Nola, where she says, I'm going to be there taking notes. Yeah, I'm going to help with some of the clinics, but more than anything, I'm going to be taking notes, because these are the best of the best, literally, in our activity. So I hope folks will show up live.
Yeah, me too.
He won't say it, Randy, because Richard is so humble and sweet, but he is the best. And I can tell you, I'm always changed for good whenever I get to see Richard work with kids, and what he does in his ear and how he refines things, and just in the simplest things just click. And it's just amazing. Like I would drive anywhere. Wild horses couldn't keep me away from hearing Richard Saucedo if I had the opportunity to get to hear him do a rehearsal. And then you got
Yep.
that other cast of heroes, musical heroes, and educational heroes. Yeah, it's for me, like I said, wild horses couldn't keep me away. I'm so excited.
You're very kind, Nola. Thank you so much.
That's absolutely true. And
And
Noel,
you're
you
not a
mentioned,
hack either, Randy.
Yeah, I was going to
well,
say,
you know,
yeah,
Look,
Randy's
I'll tell
pretty
you a
okay.
quick story about Randy Greenwell. I watched him at Grand Nationals in the warm-up room going on to finals, and he's going through the row, altering mellophone fingerings because he doesn't like the way that one sounds that night. He's teaching while they're going in the tunnel. He's teaching. He's a monster teacher, and it's just so exciting to get to, and especially now, to get to be around these people when we're all waking up and we're really doing this. It's going to be
And
fun.
that's a perfect example of one of the things that people can learn. I mean, I'm a piano player and a percussionist, so anytime I learn something about alternate fingerings on any instrument, I'm ahead of the game. So I just think, man, I just can't encourage folks enough to come out and do this. We promise you it will be worth your time. Absolutely worth your time.
Yeah, I'm so.
that's okay, Nola, go ahead.
The other thing that really is sticking with me on this thing is Beth and Kyle. Those two woodwind people. That woodwind thing seems to be so elusive for so many bands. And one of the things we're going to talk about on that judging panel is if you can have a really masterful woodwind section and woodwind sound, and your arranger can orchestrate to let that woodwind contribution come through the same way. A lot of bands have a woodwind choir sound, but they don't have a beautiful clarinet sectional sound or saxophone section, or feature the flute sections. And being able to deconstruct that choir sound and create that real organic clarinet transparency or bass clarinet transparency next to a piccolo. I still remember that with you, Richard. I mean, that's a real critical separator when I'm listening to marching bands, the bands that can do that, because we're getting better about the choir sounds. Now, if we can get the colors and the different colors, that's the next level for many people. And who better to teach us how to do that than Kyle and Beth?
Yeah,
I mean,
and the nice thing about it too, Nola, is if you have any questions, you can just go right to Kyle and Beth and say, here's what I don't know. Can you help me to do this? And they will look right at you and give you every answer they have. There are no secrets among any of us. We're all in this together, and you're going to find that more than ever at this Marching Arts Intensive.
Yeah, so it's, Nola mentioned before, replenish, renew, refresh, review. All of those things are applicable to whether you've taught a year or whether you've taught 25 years. And I think, one of the magical things about the Consummer Institute and the Marching Arts Intensive is that I've seen teachers that are kind of burned out. And we're seeing a lot of that from the virtual thing over the course of the last 2 years of COVID. I've seen them go to these events, these Consummer events, and they're totally revitalized.
Yep.
And I think that's crucial. So convince your district to help pay for it. We'll get you there. And you're going to learn an awful lot. You're going to feel better about your teaching situation and the future for your students moving forward. Richard, Nola, thanks so much for joining us this morning. And we look forward to seeing a lot of you this summer at both the Conn Summer Institute and the Marching Arts Intensive. Again, Marching Arts Intensive 15th through the 17th of June, and Conn Summer Institute the 12th through the 15th of June. Thanks so much to both of you this morning, and we'll see you again next week on another Tuesday morning Coffee Talk.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Love y'all and miss ya. It's going to be a joyous reunion.
Yes, it is.